Hey guys, thanks for joining us for yet another Maker interview. I am happy to announce that things have changed a little bit with these interviews, and I'm also happy to announce that Rick Wilkie will be joining me to help do these interviews. We thought it would be a good idea. I reached out to him to see if he would want to do that with me, and we thought it'd be a good idea because we could come up with some more questions, keep the conversation moving, and keep it more interesting. The first person we're going to interview or with this new layout is Jesse Wetta from ijessup. So stick around here. The interview is going to start, and I hope you enjoy it. And make sure you check the description below the video so you can find out where you can find her and all that good stuff. So enjoy, guys.
All right. I am Jesse Wetta. My YouTube channel is ijessup. Actually, everything is under ijessup. It's kind of my online thing. Yeah, so I'm in the DIY world now, which is very new for me. Complete novice. Yeah, complete novice.
Love that. Welcome to my world.
Right. You're in good company there.
Okay, good.
All right.
What got you? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I've spent some time looking over your stuff, and of course you're intermingled with Ben, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of can't get away from that. But again, the focus is you. So, nothing against your brother. I love your brother, but
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay, I guess, for a brother, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm a brother. I can say those things. So. Your focus is heavily on design, though, and I find that really, really interesting. That's way more than what Ryan and I can do, I'll tell you that. So what got you focused more in the design phase and then the building phase? Give us more about that, if you would.
Well, I mean, like you said, I work for my brother. I work for his company. Well, our company, mainly his. I'm like this much mine. But, his background is in architecture and design. So that's where he's coming from. As for me, I have no background, so to speak, in either building or design. So it just kind of is what it is, just think of something, make it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, make something else. I mean,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
When you look at what you've built, though, right? The DIY stand-up table with the long legs, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's clearly some influence there. And if that's just coming off the top of your head, I mean, I am not worthy. I am not worthy. So,
well, as kids, we were always encouraged to make whatever we wanted. There were always tools in the garage. I mean, we didn't have a workshop, wood shop, whatever, but we had a garage and there were tools, and we were heavily encouraged to make whatever we wanted because, our parents weren't buying anything for us. They're like, you can probably make that yourself. I was actually a really big fan when I was very little. I was a really big fan of just taking a piece of wood and a bucket of water and a big paintbrush, and I would just, totally, Mr. Miyagi, that thing. And I don't know, we were just always encouraged to make things. My parents are very, very handy, very crafty. And it's just, there were really no limits. It's just, there were materials and there were tools, just do whatever you want. And I've built stuff for myself, so it's all like very specific things. Like I have this space in this room for this one thing, so I'll build something for that. So from a design aspect, that's actually a little bit difficult because now I'm trying to think what is useful for people. So that's a little tough for me because that's totally new. Whereas Ben is just like, let's just make a concrete thing that nobody's ever thought of before. And I'm like, how do you, I don't even know.
How do you do that?
I know, how do you do that? But I want to branch out because I feel like I've made about 20,000 different types of tables now. But I feel like that's kind of it's a great beginner project because, I mean, you can't have too many tables because they're all different sizes and they hold different things. And it's such a straightforward concept. Like you think there's the platform and it's got some legs. Then what happens? Like, then what do you do after that? So, you can be imaginative, and as long as it all holds together, which is something I'm still trying to figure out, you're good.
So what kind of things would you want to branch out into when you do?
Everything. Literally.
Can you narrow that down just
just a little bit?
No. Well, I'm not very technically inclined, so there will probably not be anything that is motorized. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm just saying I have a great interest in sewing. I actually, as a teenager, I went to 2 proms. I sewed both my prom dresses. One was camouflage, and the other one had flames on it. So,
Oh my
they were
God.
originals.
Oh, wow. My wife would love those.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, that's for sure. So sewing is a big part of it. I'd like to get more into that, something I haven't experimented a lot with yet, but leatherworking, I've just barely touched the very beginning of leatherworking. So we'll see where that goes. My plan is at the end of April, I'm going to visit a friend and learn how to weld.
Ooh, cool.
I've been taking a 10-week course at the North Bennett Street School in jewelry making. So that's another thing also. I've got my little torch and I'm soldering seams and, feeling pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's more than I can do. So yeah, that is pretty cool.
So yeah, it's one of the benefits of not having experience, because if everything is new, then again, there are no limits. It's like being a child where, everything you do is for the first time. So it's just like, oh, this is exciting. I can do anything I want. So yeah, we'll see where that takes me. But my goal is to do everything in the world at some point.
That's awesome.
Right. That's a good plan.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't see a
so
reason why you should.
Right. I feel like when the stuff we create, me and my wife, and a lot of what I see other people do that we kind of know on a more personal level, that there's certain things from their life that kind of influence their design choices and this and that. Are there certain things you pull from in your life that kind of influence your designs?
I like things that are really simple and serve a function. I'm a great appreciator of all of the arts, actually. But for myself, aside from having no, drawing, painting, sketching talent whatsoever, I want something that does something, serves a purpose. So I can make a table. Most of what I do is super simple, and specifically, I try and make it very simple so that I can build it, but then so that everyone else can build it as well. But first and foremost, I want it to be useful. And then after that, it's then it can look like whatever you want it to look like, have any components.
Sure.
But I try and have I have very few things. I just moved from California a year and a half ago. I'm in Massachusetts now. Excuse me. And I packed everything into my Prius C, and I just drove across the country. So I like having very few things. It
if you got
me
it
feel
into
a little
Prius.
Yeah, exactly. And it was most of what it was is I had 2 sewing machines, 2 violins, 3 mini accordions, and 3 rolls of Tyvek, and then some odds and ends. But it's, I don't know. I like things to just be really simple, so that you don't have to think about anything else.
Yeah, simple is always best. I'll tell you that.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So you said
by complexity,
Right.
It's ridiculous. Yes.
You said violins and accordions. So do you play violin and accordion?
Not the accordions. I was at a thrift store. I saw 3 mini accordions, and I thought, this chance may never arise again, so I have to take it. So yes, I do own 3 mini accordions. But I do play the violin, or rather I did. That was my first passion. I started when I was 5. I played in 6 different orchestras. I had an opportunity to play in Italy. Went to a couple chamber music festivals over there. So I still have the violins. unfortunately, I also have carpal tunnel, so
Oh, dang it.
I know. So now I just play for fun, and I'm hoping one of these days that I can talk Tim Sway into forming a band with me.
There you go.
It's in the works. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right
I would
on.
love to see that. That would be so cool. The homemade DIY violin and guitar concerto. That would be sweet.
It's it's in the back here. It's just turning. It'll turn
But you
into
have-
something.
You have to do that sitting on your cone bench. That's my only, if I can throw anything your way and pile anything on you, that's what I want to see. I want to see that cone bench again.
It's becoming the music station now, and I posted a photo of something else that I built. I forget what it was, and someone says, "Where are the mini accordions?" I'm a mini accordion girl now. I should probably learn how to play at least one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would
see.
love to see that. I found my table saw at a thrift store, and I would have never thought to look for a mini accordion there, but I think I'll start looking now just because.
You should. You really should. It'll change your life.
Oh, I'm sure it will. That's awesome. He says, looking at his eBay $10 guitar. That's funny.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, aside from Ben and yourself, are there any other siblings out there making great stuff, or just the two?
Yeah, so there are actually 4 of us.
Wow.
I'm the youngest, then my sister Emily, and then Ben, and then our oldest brother is Nate.
Oh,
And
okay.
so Nate lives in Argentina, and he's actually, he's been there for somewhere between 8 and 10 years. It's a little fuzzy now. But he owns property out there in a very small town in the mountains, and he and his wife designed and built their own house, mostly out of adobe that they made themselves. They have the mud, the straw, and the horses for, whatever. And,
yes. Binding material.
Exactly. Yeah, so they just went for it. They have no background in design or building. Nate has done a little construction here and there in his younger years, but I think in my family we're just kind of like, yeah, I could probably do that. Like, we're that family, So they did, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. They live mostly off the land. They have gardens. They have chickens. I think they have a goat now. Yeah.
Well, you gotta have a goat.
You gotta have a goat, at least
right.
one, so people know you're legit. So that's Nate, and then my sister actually lives in LA, and she is a councilwoman for her neighborhood, and she does a lot of work with the homeless there. Yeah, so
You guys are all over.
we're
no
all
joke.
over doing all sorts of things. Yeah.
That's awesome. Man. See, I knew you were going to be an interesting interview. When Ryan brought up the suggestion, I thought, first and foremost, I want Jesse. Period. End of story. But this is actually fairly surprising to me. I mean, my God, you guys are all, and the fact that the entire family, basically all the siblings anyway, are out there, doing that's awesome.
Oh yeah, and my sister actually knows how to weld, so
Wow.
there's that as well. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right, that's cool.
We're nothing if not weird.
Oh, I would not say anything weird. My gosh, I mean, talented certainly.
I would take it as a compliment if you did.
No, we know weird. Okay, we spend every Friday night with weird. Trust me.
True.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna cut that, but that's great. So, are you making a full break then on your own in terms of your YouTube channel from Ben's channel essentially, or are you just kind of doing both?
So the way that we're doing it is my channel is my own. I can build whatever I want. I can answer trolls however I want.
Yes, ma'am. And was I going to get to that?
But it's under the larger umbrella of Homemade Modern. So like my title cards say Homemade Modern featuring Jesse Weta. So anything that's on his channel is definitely his, and I'm just there, helping out, just carrying all the heavy stuff. And then my channel is, well, you've seen it. Like my 6 videos are all me. So.
Yeah, but they're great.
Hey, I saw 7 on there.
Oh, really? I have 7?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
7.
Yeah.
Glad someone's keeping track.
It's a rabbit. YouTube's a rabbit hole for sure.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Had I known. I've had a lot of fun with mine, and I am like 26, but I got into it more just to meet people, you know. And I've been getting more out of that than anything else, really. I mean, Sherry and I just got in the garage and dink around a lot, and just have fun with it. But the fact that I've been able to make all these contacts and, you know, meet interesting folks like yourself and Ryan and Eli and everybody else we hang out with, you know, that's what I was after. So.
Oh yeah, the community, it's quite an amazing thing. I mean, I really had no idea what I was stepping into.
Right.
And it's
of rabbit
been
holes.
amazing. I know. It's
Yeah.
like a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really cool because you know, especially I'm very upfront with the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as I go along. But the amount of support that I've gotten is just incredible. Like I can't even begin to describe. Like just I step into this and think, okay, I'm the new kid. Like everyone else, this is what they do, and they're all like, oh, let me tell you about this saw and this dovetail and this. And I'm like, I understand like half of what you're saying, and I am interested. But I'm sometimes a little lost. But everyone has just been so kind, so friendly, and so willing to just be like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. Like, I'll tell you about this. I'll teach you this. Like, you know, the community is quite an incredible thing, for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing like this, I'll tell you. It's absolutely outstanding. I don't know how else to really describe it. You nailed it. You need something, it's there. End of story.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's
Most
been really
definitely.
great.
And even outside of just the making and stuff, just the support, you know, in general of the friendships, and you can go to the group with anything,
Yeah, it's
And-
very true.
right? Advice. It's great.
Yeah.
And hugs. You know, I got to meet Bill Lutz at the Making It event, and I got my hugs, and I felt like one of the team.
You didn't feel violated or anything?
Not at
It's
all.
Lutz,
I was
after
like, bring it in. Oh, yeah. I'm so happy.
Lutz is awesome. I hope to receive one myself someday, but we'll see. I don't know.
Right.
Me
He's
or
gonna have to
Lutz?
Well, I mean, you know, whatever. First and foremost, hugs are hugs, man. I'm not discriminatory. Good night. You know,
Good to know.
but yeah, no. Bill's a legend in terms of his hugs. So yeah.
Oh, and rightly so. And in so many ways, he has been just incredibly supportive to me. And even, you know, he's given me a couple shout outs from his podcast, and it just makes me go, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. I stepped into this not knowing what I was doing and just feeling like an oddball, and then I realized, oh wow, you're all a bunch of oddballs too. I feel right at home.
To one degree or another, boy, that's for sure. Good night.
Yeah.
So what's
All right,
next for you? Oh, go ahead,
good.
man. I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect. Perfect.
Sorry,
What's
what?
next for you? That's like what he said. Yeah.
Oh, what's next? Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually quite a planner. I like to be very organized, but even though I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, I'm still just like, I don't know what my next build is going to be, you know? So it's going to be interesting for sure. A couple people have said like, oh, I'm interested to see what you're going to do like in the next couple of years. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested too, because I have no idea. Like, it could be anything. You know, I have some ideas. Like I want to do like a little shop type stool with storage that you can just roll around with. But you know, I'm trying to make it not too personalized, because I have to realize that I'm the only one that's me. So I got to figure out how to make things more accessible. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But I would like to start making other things, like things you sit on that aren't tables. And at some point, I'll make something with a drawer, which, you know, I'm very excited about. So I guess I'll have to stop using 3/4-inch plywood for everything because it's just too heavy.
Well, for certain applications, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. We'll see.
I want to know more about this troll thing. I must not be aware of this.
Oh, are you in for a treat? I'm just going to sit back and shut up because this is awesome.
Yeah. So I decided when I started my channel, I decided, okay, as much as possible, I want to have all the comments out there for anyone to read. I'm not afraid of people not liking what I do because that's fine. I don't care. I don't care if they don't like me, and I don't care if they voice it. And I think that it's important, especially for someone starting out, not to get too cocky and just say, like, yeah, I realize that my stuff is not for everyone. And if you'd like to say that, you're welcome to. So I do filter all my comments so I get to read them first because, I just don't want anyone being nasty. Like, I don't really care if they're nasty to me. It's just sometimes people get nasty to each other, and no. That's
right.
Not okay. So my first, well, actually, technically my first troll was a comment that all it said was, "Didn't know women could DIY."
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So I go, okay,
my.
I'll post that. And I answered, well, I'm happy to have educated you. And that's it. So, like, that's fine. I don't care. You can say that. Doesn't bother me. But my first, like, real good troll, his comment just said, no. So I'm like, okay. So I responded and said, no, what? Like, what, specifically, what are you knowing? Yeah. And so he wrote back and he said, you're not a good woodworker. Your design is not good. Like, you don't know what you're doing and you're not pretty. And I'm like,
what?
I was like, okay. So I responded to him. I responded to him every point, and I said, I don't claim to be good at what I do. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm saying I'm a beginner. Like, one of the things I always make a point to say is when I cut with a circular saw, there's not been a single time when I can cut a straight line. It just doesn't happen. So I use the, clamp the carpenter square on it because then I get a straight line because I can't do that. You know why? Because I'm new.
I can't, and I'm not.
And, it's like, so I don't claim to be good at what I do. I don't claim to be an expert. If you don't like my table, that's fine. And I never said that I was pretty. Oh, and he also said, you're not special. I'm like, I don't think I'm special. Did I say that in the video? I'm like watching it. Did I just say at the end, like, I'm very special and pretty, so you should like my amazing designs and how fabulous I am. So, so of course, I want people to know, like, I don't think these things about myself. I don't think that I should have views because I'm a girl and I'm making things, and that's, like, not as common. I don't care about that. You watch because you want to, or you don't because you don't. It doesn't matter to me. So I answered him back. I'm like, I'm not claiming to be any of these things. And don't bother responding because nobody cares what you have to think. So
there you go.
Actually respond, but I had to set a limit for myself. So, in my goal, like, I'll push the troll through and then I'll answer him once, only one time. Yeah. Because talk about rabbit hole, right? Like, I can go back and forth forever, and it's kind of fun, but there's a limit. And, I'm a grown up and I'm a professional. Right. So, it's like, you had your say, I had mine. Now go back to your channel where all you do is repost other people's videos about, like, aircraft carriers. I don't even know. Like, but
because clearly he's building one in his basement.
Maybe. Hey, if you're doing that, cool, but you're not so great yourself. So so how dare you? But I don't care. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. Like, I have brothers. You can't offend me. You can't hurt my feelings. And literally nobody cares what you think.
I find it really funny that when someone posts a troll comment, inevitably someone calls on Jesse to go fight that troll. Take that man down. Take him down. She's got this unofficial, flyweight troll battling belt,
And proudly so. I know when Rod posted that comment and he was like, "Where's ijessup when you need her?" I'm like, "I'm here. I'm ready to report for duty." Like, here's what I have to say. I think my favorite thing is no matter what anyone has to say with me, and I worked in the service industry for 16 years, so like literally I've seen it all. I've had terrible, terrible things said to me. And, in my younger years, I responded in kind. But, now that I'm very wise, it's much more fun to answer people in a way where, there's no swearing. You don't raise your voice. Mainly you smile through the whole thing. You say things like, "I can't argue with you if you're going to be a knob," which they just don't get. They know they've been insulted somehow, but they don't really understand it. They kind of feel like they shouldn't be offended because it's so inoffensive. Well, here it is, In the UK, it's a bit different, but it's much more fun just to make them feel stupid, especially when people are watching, because it's not fun having someone very quietly say things to you and be completely unruffled. So, yeah. Service industry taught me a lot.
Troll warrior.
Yeah. They'll have it on a shield and a sword, and they'll just, march into battle.
I'm gonna make you one of those. I don't know. We'll see. I've had a sword on my wooden sword anyway on my docket for a while. I might clear that sucker up and ship it your way.
Me too.
That's
hilarious.
Yeah. I want to build the grandfather sword from Diablo. It's a big two-hander. Big old monster thing. So
wow,
I'm totally down. I will wield that sword with pride.
Break out the Dremel and carve in Jesse Troll Slayer.
It's true. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Normally, what Ryan would do in this part of the segment is, give you an opportunity to shine the light on folks that otherwise wouldn't necessarily perhaps get that attention. Mm-hmm. So is there a couple folks that you might think you want to give a shout out to yourself? Give a little love to the heart.
Send a little love. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many people that you just have to leave out because it's like every single person I've talked to has just been awesome.
Right.
But definitely, I have to have. I mean, you already know, but the Red Smith, he's fantastic. I was like, everything he touches is just magical. And this latest thing with the leather burning, it's just beautiful. And and he's also another very supportive person, like always there, ready to help, comment, all of that. Keith Decent, another one. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen his paintings that he does on reclaimed wood. He paints a colorful background, just like one color scheme, like it'll be all green, just different shades of greens. And then he inks on top of that a cityscape. And they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. Aside from all the woodworking and the squid things with the bandsaw blade tentacles. I mean, like everything he does is really fantastic. But I just remember seeing these paintings, being like, "Wow, like there's nothing this guy can't do." And then Mr. Gib Clark, who just won the saw blade competition with his fantastic lamp. And if you saw his no lathe pen, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it reminded me of my dad. So my dad has been a fisherman his entire life. He actually owns a wholesale fishing tackle business that he makes fishing tackle from the house. Very
cool.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. one thing he does is he wraps his own rods. So he has the rod blanks, he puts on the cork handles, he puts on all the guides, and then he wraps them with the threads before, using the whatever kind of acrylic he puts over it. But I remember as a kid watching him, he's got his glasses on the end of his nose so he can peer over them, and he's like nose right to the guide, and he's got his little thread, and it's turning, and it's watching the thread just go round and round and round. And he made me a pole for I want to say it was my maybe 10th birthday, and he's like, you can pick out any 2 colors you want, and I picked pink and purple.
That's awesome.
Child.
Oh, come on now.
Pink and purple. Oh my goodness.
You've just described Steve Ramsey's entire color scheme. So.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm more of a black and blue jeans type of person. So it's like everything I own is a black tank top. But so I mean, I would say those 3 guys are always like right at the front. Just the stuff that they do is really incredible. They've been, really supportive of me, and just they've become great friends. So yeah.
When I first joined the group, Gib was one of the first ones to reach out, and I was a little intimidated by it. I wasn't quite sure what he was after because I didn't understand the group complex at that point, Yeah. And I was like, I don't know how to answer this guy. My wife was just like, just talk to him. He's just a dude, and come to find out, he really is, he's really a nice guy. I love Gib to death. I really do.
Yeah. He's a good one. That's for sure.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't mind when you make a hangout call mistake, and he's like, is there a hangout? And I'm like, oh, well, sorry, Gib, I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm going back to work then. All right, sorry, Gib.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's a machine. He works so much, and then to still find time to he did those 2 competitions, and he's still trying to put a floor into his shop. The guy does everything.
I know, right?
I don't know if most people know this. They're like, yeah, he's an electrician, right? And it's like, oh, he's in everything.
Yeah, he's really, really outstanding. I've seen him go out in negative degree weather to go help a neighbor, and still come home and have time to answer a stupid question from me, so. Yeah,
I'm still a California girl, so it's like, what? It's cold outside? People go out? What?
Yeah, we kind of do that.
I'm better. I walked a mile in 12-degree weather, so I was like, I think I can be Boston now.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
That's great.